Whatever your occupation is, most occupations and most giftings help to serve the purpose that God put you on earth for. What up, y'all? I'm RoJay.
And I'm Shy. And this is the RXS podcast.
The podcast where we provide inspiration, motivation, and information to the music community.
That's right.
Yeah.
So what are we talking about today?
Purpose.
All right,
I've been reading a book by E.T. the hip hop preacher. Shout out to E.T.
Shout out.
It's called You Owe You.
Oh, wow.
And the basis of the book is kind of like we always feel entitled, like we always hurt, like somebody owe us something, like they should have. I did so much for them, so they should have blankety blank blank blank. So he kind of it's kind of a book about like looking back at yourself and understanding what you were created for, because in actuality, regardless of what you feel like you're entitled to, you are the one that owe you. So yeah, that's just, y'all go get the book. It's fire. So yeah, but purpose, like a lot of people out there have trouble like finding purpose, like identifying purpose. Like, I don't know what my purpose is. I don't know what I've been put on earth to do. So I just want to kind of use our origin stories.
Okay.
And like how we were raised, how we were brought up, what we discovered, just as a way to give people insight to get them on the path to finding purpose. Like, we don't have the answers. I don't have an exact answer on exactly how to find purpose, but we can just kind of start the conversation to get people down the journey.
Okay.
And then at the end, I have 3 questions from the book that I think will be good for y'all to ask yourselves to help find it. So I'm gonna start with my story.
Okay.
And then we'll go from there.
All
Is
right.
that all right, y'all? Like gospel. Is that all right? So yeah, I was born in North Carolina, of course. A city called Wilson is where Wilson Memorial Gang is where I was born. I spent most of my childhood like in like Wayne County, Goldsboro, Pikeville.
Okay.
That's where my mom's family's from. My dad's family's from Wilson. Like music on both sides. My dad musician, my mom a musician. They both sang. Both sides of the family had a group. So like we got a family quartet group. The Jackson family on one side, they in Goldsboro. The Lewis family on the other side. They're in Wilson. My granddad, both of my granddads are like gospel giants in the city. Like both of them, like 5. So it's like music was always around me. I ended up finding out, like my mom and them told me, no, I'm not going to go there. That's too far. So yeah, music on both sides. So I grew up going at all the quartet rehearsals, all the family. Oh, my dad was in a quartet group too that was fire. Yeah.
What were they called?
The Southern Wonders from Wilson. So if y'all from Wilson, Rocky Mount, Pikeville, anywhere around here, y'all know what's up. So like I used to go to all those rehearsals and stuff like that. So that was a thing. Started playing drums at the age of 3. Yeah, playing the go-go beats with my Aunt Sheena. I remember that. man on the drums. Okay.
Oh,
You was hoping I was gonna air myself out, right? Go, man.
I was gonna do it.
So yeah, started out playing drums, going to rehearsals. Grew up when I got around like I don't know, maybe like I'm gonna have to ask my mama. But eventually I started getting interested in the keyboard.
Okay.
So I'm learning how to play the keyboard. My Uncle Tyrone, shout out. Uncle Ty showed me like a couple of chords. So I started kind of like boom, 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 started playing. And then to say what I was about to say a while ago, my mom told me that when they had the Jackson family group, like my Uncle Junior, Marvin Jr. played drums. My Uncle Tyrone played the guitar. My uncle, and then my granddad played the bass.
Right.
And then like but before Uncle Tyrone and then my mom and them played. So like my mom played drums, my Aunt Mel played keys.
Right.
But then they ended up singing. And so they would always have different keyboard players that would come in, but they never had a solid keyboard player.
Yeah.
And then my mom told me the story that my granddaddy Marvin told her, that is okay because Jamal is going to play the keyboard for us. That's ridiculous. And I'm guessing like I'm either in my mama's stomach or just born.
Little, yeah.
And he's like, that's fine. He got it. We ain't gonna have to worry about it anymore.
Right.
Yada yada yada. So fast forward, growing up, learning how to play keys or whatever, it became something that I was very interested in. Once I knew how to play chords, I have 2 incidents. I don't remember. 2 of my friends were very instrumental in me starting off. One of them is LeVar's Woodard, gang Navars. And the other one was Ricky Daughters Jr., a.k.a. Tank, both of my big brothers, both from Wilson. I don't remember if it was Tank or Vars first, but I do remember that I started playing keys with Vars with Elder Blackman, with Marshall. Shout out to Marshall, too. It's going to be a lot of shout outs in this story because that's where I come from. So I started playing with Marshall or whatever. But I think that's after. Do you know?
No.
Okay. Yeah. Because if
I
I'm
think
like,
you told
I'm
me.
like 11 or 12. So I'm not sure.
I think you told me that this is first.
Yeah. Like I remember, I don't
first.
remember the timeline, but I remember Vars was like, hey, yo, I'm playing with this guy.
And you were scared.
I was very scared. He like, can you come play at church? I'm like, I don't know but 3 chords. I do remember this. He said, well, that's fine. Marshall don't know but 2. You know one more chord than Marshall. Come on. That's hilarious. That's hilarious. So, okay, now let me get to the other part because Tank is the extreme instrumental part of the story.
Correct.
So, I'm a young kid around a bunch of musicians, like a lot of them. So I'm learning how to play keys or whatever, yada, yada, yada. I'm tinkling. Like I said, Tyrone showed me the chords. I've been tinkling. Everybody knows that I play drums because I can play drums, but I'm learning how to play keys. So I'm playing. And then, but I would see Tank's dad and the choir from church. Shout out to Glory Baptist. Shout out to Reverend Daltrich. Shout out to Vision Choir. Like I used to see them and I'm like, yo, they nice. Like nice. Like, you know, the kids on stage with the drumsticks, like air drumming and stuff.
Yes.
I was that guy. So I'm seeing them and I'm like, one day I'm going to play for that church. Mind you, I'm just saying what I'm saying because that's what I wish I could do. I mean, I ain't thinking, speak it in and it come to pass. I ain't thinking that. I'm just like, this is something I really want, so I'm going to just declare it. So to make a long story short, it ended up happening one day. I don't know if I remember correctly, but I feel like I remember my mom saying, like, somebody called you today. His name is Tank. I'm like, I know who Tank is because Tank is like the guy in Wilson at the time. He like, you know what I would say, but I ain't going to say it. He like that guy. Yeah, you know. Yeah. So it's like, he's popular. His dad is popular. The choir's going. The church is big. A lot of youth, yada, yada, yada. So Tank calls me like, hey, I know you play keys. I'm trying to put together this band. Would you be interested? So first off, I'm like, man, I said I would play for this choir one day, but I ain't know my boy was going to call. So I'm like scared. I'm scared. I'm like, yeah, I guess. So I go to the rehearsal or whatever. I'm there. Demetrius is there. Shout out to Demetrius McCrae. He's just learning how to play the organ at the time. He's a part of the youth choir, and he's just interested in playing the organ.
Right.
Like, and the guy, Kevin Williams, shout out to Kevin, who was the minister of music at the time, I'm guessing, was teaching him how to play. So Tank got us in this rehearsal. I remember like it was yesterday. The lights was dim. My hands was sweating. And we learning, blah, 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 blah. Okay, now I'm going to fast forward. So eventually we are growing. Me and D are playing. Then we have some of the other homies that end up, and I'll tell a longer version of this story later because it's a good story. So fast forward, a bunch of the homies started playing together, and I have to rewind too because there's another person and situation that's important in this same thing. So we're playing or whatever, and then we form a band with some of our other friends. Shout out to Greg, shout out to Chris, shout out to Antonio, shout out to all y'all. Shout out to Brandon. Shout out to who else? I don't want to forget nobody else's name because I'm forgetting names. Roderick. Shout out to Roderick. Shout out to the whole GBC band. Yada, yada, yada. Y'all know. So, yeah, we playing together. And as we are playing, I'm starting to notice something. I'm starting to notice that when we're learning these songs, I don't like playing them the way they go. Every record we playing, every song we're learning, like Tank's dad will have us listen to the records and then he'll have us play them. Like, learn your part. This is your part. Do this, do that, do that. And I don't like playing them the way they go. So let me rewind. So I'm learning how to play the keyboard and I'm getting pretty good. I'm getting pretty good. So my mom talks to her then friend who wasn't her husband yet, but became her husband, Ray Braswell. Shout out to him, one of the greatest quartet producers on this side of heaven.
Yes.
So he lends me his XB60, if I'm not mistaken. And I discover, and you know what time it is, I discover the 16-track sequencer. So I'm like, I can make music in this. I can record, and then I can go to another track, and I can record. And I can... So I discovered then, mind you, the call from Tank, my stepdad Ray bringing me the keyboard. This is all like very like close in time. So I'm playing the keyboard.
And you were about how old?
12, 11, 12, 13, one of them.
Okay.
You probably know better than me. But it's 11, 12, or 13. I'll have to ask like Tank and them because they know better than I do. Because I got a bad memory. I just remember. Listen, this is what I remember. Extremely.
Yeah, selective memory.
Yes, it has to be where
selective.
It was extremely important, like pivotal,
extremely
funny or extremely sad. That's the only stuff I remember. I don't remember the details of nothing, but I remember those three things. So I get this keyboard. I learn how to play. Tank says, learn these songs. Yes, this is right. Learn these songs. It's the Caught Up album that Tank's dad, Glory Baptist Vision Choir, Reverend Daltrich. Ray actually produced it because he was the minister of music at the time. So it's a whole lot of legendary stuff going on. So Tank's dad had us learn it. So then we come, we play, we form a band. All of the homies come. On top of learning the material, we have to do like cover tunes because the church travels, the choir travels as a performance choir, but they are also the church choir.
Right.
So we rehearsing 2 times a week, Tuesday and Thursday. I'm in middle school, but these rehearsals are like ridiculous. They like serious. It's like Tank's dad got us like learning the material. You learn the material first. Then let's say, for instance, he had like, let's say that weekend he doing a performance somewhere. 9 times out of 10, he know where we're going and he know how much time we have. So say for example, we got 30 minutes. He'll do like the timer. So he'll take the timer and he'll say, hey, here's 30 minutes. Blah, blah, blah. Start from the top. Do the song. Blah, blah, blah. That ain't right. Do it again. Choir, y'all walk in. Blah, 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 blah. So yeah, all of this is important because it's important to purpose. So y'all just stick with me. So I'm learning all this. I'm experiencing all this. I'm getting all of this training. And like I said before, when we're doing the cover tunes, I don't necessarily like playing them how they go. So we're like, we'll learn the song and then we'll be in rehearsal and it's like, hey, try this, do this. Let's play this instead of this. Mm-hmm. Let's do this instead of this. Mm-hmm. And it's this kind of thing where between the XB60, mm-hmm. these rehearsals, these band rehearsals, and this let's play it different, at the time, I didn't know these were roles, characteristics, ideas, and thoughts of a music producer.
Right.
I did not know that. I just know, hey, I can make music on this keyboard. Right. I can do multiple tracks. Hey, we're in these rehearsals. Hey, let's do this intro. Right. Let's do this. Let's do this arrangement. Let's do this. Let's do this. Play this part. You actually don't got to play that much. You could just play this one little bump, 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 and you play this blank, 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 and you do this pop, pop, pop.
Right.
Okay, now let's do it all together.
Right.
So I ended up realizing that I had the DNA of a music producer. This DNA, I thought that this DNA was my purpose. Here we go. This is the part. Get your gears in gear. I thought that being a music producer was my purpose.
Wow.
After living and learning and discovering, I realized that being a music producer was a gift, not a purpose. So, as I'm going along, things are happening, opportunities are coming, different stuff is happening. I play with Glory Baptist. I play with Doc McKenzie. Shout out to Doc McKenzie. That happened through the homies. That's a whole nother story. So the homies put me on one summer. Jason quits. So the homies are like, let's petition for the young buck to play. Some of the boys was cool. Some of them wasn't. Shout out to Tank and Chris, gang for fighting for me. So they fought for me. I got in. I started playing. I'm learning more. I meet you. Mm-hmm. See, meeting her is when I found out that being a music producer and being a musician was not a purpose. It was a gift. It was through meeting her when she would tell me, some of that don't make no sense. I would explain to her opportunities, how much it pay, how far we going, and she'll be like, and I used to be mad. You stunting my growth. You trying to steal my shine. You don't want me to be great. Because I'm thinking that music production, being a traveling keyboard player, is my purpose. And these quartet opportunities and these local churches, these are avenues for me to be what God called me to be. And my wife looking at me like, no. Yeah. Like, no. But fast forward. One thing I started to notice that after I groomed my craft and built relationships, anytime something was happening, I was the person that was called. And I was always the person responsible for bringing people together to accomplish a certain goal. That's right. Whether it is, put this band together. Ask these singers to come here. See if you know this person. Try to do this. Can you do this? Can you come over here and do this? So then I said, wait. And then in the process, I'm teaching people. Shout out to G Cox one more time. Wilson and his daddy, Bo Peep. Yes. Shout out to Bo one time. So back to the Glory Baptist. I'm teaching G because Bo comes to us and says, hey, my son, he in the streets. Hey, Reverend Daltrich, I see what you're doing over here with the boys. Do y'all mind taking them in? Tank, like, what you think? I'm like, hey, we need somebody to play auxiliaries because your daddy is requiring us to play parts that we ain't got enough hands for. We ain't got, but so Rev, we ain't got no more hands. Right. So yeah, so I'm teaching him. This is important. I'm teaching him, yada, 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 we learning. So I'm starting to notice, hey, anytime I ask somebody to do something, they're there without question. The ability to teach is there. This person don't really fool with this person, but if I ask these two people to do this one thing, they always say yeah, and they figure out a way to
live amongst each other during the situation. Yeah,
their differences are reconciled momentarily for the greater good. Yeah. So here's my point. I started to understand that creating opportunities for people and bringing people together was more of a purpose. And music production and keyboard playing is the vehicle / tools by which bringing people together was accomplished in that season and even in this one. So it's like, okay, my purpose is to create opportunity for people and bring people together. People that may not necessarily work together or may not necessarily have even met. Relationships are built, working relationships and personal relationships are built that last past this concert or past this session or past this interaction.
Right.
And music production is the vehicle. Like, it's disguised as a thing where we all coming together to make music, but it's really life-changing. So I get to the point now at 31 years old, been married for 12 years, gang, been married for 12 years. I'm in a situation now where I understand what my purpose is through all of that. So if you're out there and you're living and you're developing your gifts, whether it's to speak, whether it's to sing, whether it's to do art, whether it's to help people, becoming a nurse or whatever, like doctors, lawyers, whatever your occupation is, most occupations and most giftings help to serve the purpose that God put you on earth for. So one of the ways I've discovered that you can find purpose is by just simply doing what you're gifted to do and assessing the results and the effect that what you've done has on people. So now I'm going to get to this. UOU, Eric Thomas, E.T. the Hip Hop Preacher. For the one time.
Let's go.
I just read this morning, so bear with me as I use my notes as the preachers would do. There are 3 things that were super important that I think. 3 points in the close.
Yes, sir.
We about to preach. 3 points in the close. We preaching on y'all. So here are 3 questions that I got from UOU that I'm going to ask y'all to ask y'all self, and maybe we and ET can help y'all find y'all purpose.
Right.
All right, so the first question is, what do you love doing? That's the first question. What do you love doing? Now, you may love doing multiple things. I have a beautiful wife right here that we call, I ain't going to put your business out there. Just know she do everything. Homegirl can do hair like braid, cut hair like edge me up. She can fix anything that breaks. She can sing. She can play multiple instruments. What else can you do?
Draw.
Paint. Arts. Yes. Everything. So in a case like my wife's case, she can do multiple things. So if we asked her, what do you love to do? She gonna be like, I love to draw. I love to sing too. But I love making beats too. So it's like, okay, y'all, how you find your purpose when you love to do multiple things? Here is the second question. Out of all of those things, let's say you got 5 things. In her case, she got 20, but we're going to say 5 for the example. Say, for instance, you got 5 things that you love to do. The second question is, how does that thing affect people? Okay, so out of the 5 things you love doing, which thing affects people the most? Right? And then, how does that thing affect people? Okay, if I'm just playing keys, in my house, that don't really affect people, but I love doing it. But here's the thing. I love producing music. How does that affect people? This can. I, as a music producer, can work with an artist who has something that they want to express. Let's say they went through a bad breakup. If it's R&B, gang, they went through a bad breakup and they need to express it. Me as a producer can provide the soundtrack for their expression.
Right.
I've just affected multiple lives because I worked with one person who was able to express how they feel. On the flip side, if I'm producing a record with multiple musicians and I have let's say, because we gonna get there one day, let's say I got $100,000 budget. And I got 5-6 people working with me.
Right.
And I can pay them, let's say, $10,000 to $15,000 per person.
Correct.
I've just helped them feed their family.
Right.
So this is a way to attach what you love with how it affects people. How does what you love serve people? Whether it's monetary, whether it's emotional, whether it's physical, like being a trainer. Like, I'm a personal trainer. First of all, my occupation is a personal trainer. A person that's a personal trainer may feel like my purpose is to use my giftings to help people live as long as possible. Right? So you become a personal trainer. You could just be a clerk at Planet Fitness, but you would rather just like, yo,
right.
I'm here with you every day. This your regimen. This what you eating, blah, 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 blah. The third question is, when you see this response from people, how do you feel?
Oh, wow.
When you see this response from people, how do you feel? I use myself for an example. I'm working. I call John, I'll make up a name, John Black. John Black, I'm producing this record, man. Can you play bass on it? It pays $1,000 a song. It's 5 songs. I can pay you half up front, the other half when we're done. Okay. John Black plays on the record, blazes it, right? We're done with the record. John calls me and says, yo, Jay, I don't think you understand. What, man? When you paid me that deposit that morning, they told me that if I didn't have $2,500 by the end of the day, that we were going to have to pack everything up and leave the house.
Yeah.
Right? If a scenario like that happens, I feel way more different than I would if the song was dope. Everybody make dope songs. But to have a gift that serves a purpose, that gives back and provides opportunities for people, I feel more fulfilled with the phone call of, bro, this opportunity just helped me and my family, than, boy, you blazed that track.
Right.
That's just like fluff to me.
Right.
So ask yourself, okay, this is the thing I love to do. This is how what I love to do affects people. And this is how I feel when I see or hear or witness the response from that person.
Right.
So those 3 questions. What do you love doing? That's one. How does that thing affect people? That's 2. When you see the response from people, how do you feel? Assess all of the things you love to do. Assess which one of those things provide the most value to other people. And then assess if you feel fulfilled from the response from those people. Not guaranteed, but I would say at least 7.5 times out of 10, your purpose is probably connected to answering those questions. So I want to challenge everybody in the music community, writers, producers, A&Rs, keyboard players, drummers, all instrumentalists. Ask yourself these 3 questions. And I can't guarantee that you will know your purpose, but I can promise you you'll be closer to it.
Yeah, that's good stuff.
Yeah.
That's good stuff.
So next week, y'all tune in and y'all gonna hear her origin story. I'm RoJay.
I'm Shy.